John Boscawen.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I didn't take the Act call in the normal order when this bill came up late last night, but I'd like to do so now because I've listened with interest to the debates over the last half hour or so. And it's interesting that Grant Robinson has just concluded by saying that free trade is not the be-all and end-all of raising economic aspirations, but it's a very important part. And I agree with him, and I was particularly interested to listen to the contribution of Rahui Katene this morning, because she talked about the competing concerns within the Maori Party caucus. She talked about the fact that this bill, when it's enacted, will reduce the tariffs that apply to imports from Malaysia, and so it will introduce products manufactured into New Zealand to greater competition. However, the benefit of that, of course, is it actually reduces the prices that products of goods purchased from Malaysia, and as such raises the living standards of New Zealanders, because if New Zealanders can buy those same products cheaper, their money, their spending power goes further. And as Rahui Katene said, it enables the Maori iwi, Maori interests to leverage their assets to look for trading opportunities in Malaysia, to export products into Malaysia, and also build on Maori development and Maori employment. But then the debate really became quite wide-ranging. Chris Tremain used the opportunity to outline, the 6 key planks that the National Party stood on in the last election, and in particular focused on the growth of Zespri. Jacinda Ardern then took the opportunity of speaking about the Labour Party's policy with respect to monetary policy, and suggesting that the government should be looking simply beyond free trade agreements. But the contribution that interested me most was Mr Cam Korda's contribution, because Cam Korda made the point that 70% of what this country sells, we sell into Asia. 70% of what we sell. Asia is our future. Asia is where we are marketing our products to. And I think that's a very important issue, sir, because Jacinda Ardern talked about 4 headlines. She talked about the 4 headlines that New Zealand had achieved on the international stage in the last couple of months. Well, sir, there's another headline that we're going to make, and it's going to come on the 1st of July. And it's going to have a huge impact on the welfare of New Zealanders and our exporters. And I refer, of course, to the emissions trading scheme. We are, on the 1st of July, introducing the most comprehensive emissions trading scheme in the world. We are introducing an emissions trading scheme, Mr Speaker, the first outside Europe and the most comprehensive. And how do I know that, Mr Chair? Because I listened with interest to the speech of the Minister of Climate Change negotiations, as he was at the time, the Honourable Dr Smith, when he spoke on the first reading of the National Party's amending bill. And what did Dr Smith say? Well, Dr Smith said on the 24th of September last year, not 5 years ago when he was in opposition, but 6 months ago when he was Minister of Climate Change negotiations, he said this emissions trading scheme will be the first of any country outside Europe, and on 1 July 2010 will be the most comprehensive by including transport, industry and energy emissions. So to all of those New Zealanders who listen to Dr Smith travelling up and down the country trying to minimise the damage that this bill, this emissions trading scheme, will do to New Zealand's exporters and to New Zealanders, I repeat again, Dr Smith told this House on the 24th of September last year, this will be the most comprehensive by including transport, industry and energy emissions. Now I'd like to bring this back, Mr Speaker, to the issue of our free trade agreement with Malaysia and Cam Korda's comments that 70% of what we sell to Asia. 70%. Well, Dr Smith is very fond of saying that 29 of the 38 developed countries who signed the Kyoto Protocol, those Annex I countries, have an emissions trading scheme. 29. Well, sir, the countries that Dr Smith refers to are the countries of the European Union plus Norway and Switzerland. And 80% of what those countries sell, they sell to themselves. 80% of their exports are to other countries within Europe. Only 20% leave Europe. Only 20% of their exports leave Europe. Contrast that with our own situation, Mr Speaker. We sell 15% of our exports into Europe, and by definition 85% to countries outside of Europe. We're selling 85% of our exports to countries that don't have an emissions trading scheme by Dr Smith's own acknowledgement. And as Mr Cam Corder reminded the House this morning, of that 85% we sell, 70% are going into Asia. 70% of what New Zealand exporters are selling are going into countries that don't have the extra costs of an emissions trading scheme. 85% in all. And for this government, for the National Party to go up and down the country trying to convince New Zealanders that the emissions trading scheme is good for our exporters is an absolute disgrace. Because what Europe does, Europe has exposed 20% of their exports outside of Europe to the cost of or to competing with countries that don't have that cost. We're exposing more than 4 times that number. Mr Speaker, trade is very important. The ACT Party, probably more than any other party in this party, is concerned about raising New Zealanders' prosperity and actually implementing policies that will actually do something about that. I noticed that Rahui Kartene, one of the comments that she made was she was concerned about the impact on workers' conditions and workers' wages, and particularly unemployment of young Maori. And I dare say young Polynesians. In fact, I dare say all young people. Sir, we had a chance to do something about that earlier this year. The House could have supported my colleague Sir Roger Douglas's bill on youth wages, giving 16 and 17-year-olds a chance to get employment by being employed at less than minimum wage. Well, sir, what sensible employer would choose, or what choice would an employer make between a 35-year-old, a young 35-year-old with possibly a wife or a husband and 2 young children who needs reliable employment, and a 16-year-old? Well, I suspect, Mr Speaker, that if you had to make that choice between a 35-year-old with a person with commitments and a young person, you'd choose that more mature person all the time, and young people, sir, are being denied a chance to get employment. Mr Speaker, the ACT Party will be supporting this bill. We support free trade. We support the opportunities it gives our exporters and our businesses. And we support the opportunity to try and raise New Zealand's prosperity and to raise living standards. Because only by creating employment and creating investment do you actually create this as a more prosperous country. And if Jacinda Ardern is concerned about world headlines, well, I suggest that all of the parliamentarians in this parliament should hang their head in shame, because on the 1st of July we've got an emissions trading scheme, and I think Mr Grosser is laughing. Well, I'd invite Mr Grosser to explain how he thinks it can be good for our exporters, to be exposed to trading with countries. 85% of our exporters are going into countries that don't have the extra cost on emissions trading scheme. And you may not think that's important, Mr Grosser, but Meat and Wool New Zealand have said that the cost for the average dairy farmer from the 1st of July this year will be $3,900. $3,900, and they're paying that, Mr Speaker. That's 3 cents a kilogram on milk fat, and that's $75 a week for the average dairy farmer, about $35 a week for the average beef and sheep farmer, and parliamentarians in this parliament may like to laugh about that, Mr Chair, but if we're really concerned about raising New Zealand's prosperity and our livelihood and our incomes, we need to be doing a lot more than trying to penalise exporters in the way this emissions trading scheme is done. Thank you, Mr Speaker.
Tim McIndoe.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.